Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Andrew and this is my boyfriend Oliver.
Hey guys.
So as some of you guys know, I am 3 years in on my transition and Oliver is almost 3 months in on his. So we're obviously at very different points, however, we have a lot of similarities and the same patterns throughout our transition. Something that we noticed that Oliver is currently going through is he gets hot-tempered, and it's not very frequent and it doesn't last very long, but it does happen. I thought about it and it is something that I went through as well. I remember at the time whenever I was with my girlfriend, I would get really hot-tempered and she would get really upset about it and not really understand why. So we took a lot of time to think about maybe why this happened and just kind of spread some awareness on it, because I know whenever I went through it, I was 18 and he's 21. So obviously if you're getting really hot-tempered and not aggressive but kind of angry, that's something you have to be aware of because you're of age where you can go to jail, you know?
Yeah. I think what a lot of people don't understand through a transition is it is literally, unless you're transitioning, you don't really understand, but it is exactly like puberty, only for the opposite gender. So you all remember what you went through during puberty, you know, like your emotions are just crazy. I don't know how it was, I mean, I do kind of know how it was for boys, but, you know, I wasn't of the same age. And I guess during puberty, you know, at that age, adults often give you kind of like leeway for being that way. And we don't get that as adults going through a second puberty. We don't get that. So people just look at us like, dang, you're aggressive, like that's changing you in a bad way. But it's just, and it's not always gonna be this way, but it's just changing me. And it's like any other puberty, only it's happening later in life.
And I think that that's the biggest thing, is it's just like puberty. So it's something that, you know, he'll work through and he'll get through, because I don't get that way anymore. It happened for a little bit where I would just feel almost kind of bipolar, just like really angry really fast. And you know that there's no intent to hurt anybody or do anything. It's just a quick feeling that you get. And little boys get it all the time. You see them, they're like little pieces of shits when they're little. No offense if you're a little boy, but like it happens. That's just kind of how it is. They're mad and they get angry and
yeah.
Okay, Felix. But people are used to that and people aren't used to this. And another reason why we just wanted to spread awareness is we've heard a couple of people say like, you know, my boyfriend is transitioning, and all of a sudden whenever he transitioned, he got kind of aggressive or hot-tempered or whatever. And we just kind of want to say like, yeah, that is true, but it's something that you just have to kind of go through. And it's something that I don't think you, like, that's a lot of pressure to put on somebody whenever they're going through puberty and they are changing, to say like, oh, you're changing. It's kind of like, no shit, that's the whole point. I'm trying to. It's just there's gonna be some points of my transition that are kind of hard to go through, or some points that you don't necessarily like, but it's like the end game that I have in mind is I'm not doing it for this part, I'm doing it for the long run, you know?
Yeah, exactly. This is like a temporary, not even like a side effect, it's just something, it's adjustment. Literally, it's adjustment. You're adjusting from basically like one mindset, kind of one emotional mindset, to
another,
a completely different one.
Well, and you have to think on top of that, you've been used to one emotional mindset your entire life, and
so
now
has everybody else too. Everybody else around you has been used to that.
Yeah, used to you being that way. Yeah.
So when I mean, I'm just glad I have you, because if I was with my ex and she was watching me go through this, she would be like, why are you so mad all the time? I don't understand. I'm like, it's just the hormones. I don't know. It's literally just, it's just a heat, like.
Yeah, and I don't want to make it seem like he's aggressive, like he hits me or like verbally abuses.
Hell no.
He doesn't do anything like that. It's more of like, he'll get frustrated over little things. Like, we were at the grocery store and I just grabbed all the bags, and he likes to carry his groceries. It's like, whether or not you think it's stupid, it doesn't matter, but it's just, it's one of his things. He likes to carry them. And so he was frustrated because he wanted to get out because it was super crowded, so I was trying to be helpful and I just grabbed them all. And we walk out and he was like, I can take him or whatever, and I was just thinking like, no, it's okay, like I got it. I wasn't even thinking he actually wanted to, and he just like stopped, and you could see he was getting red, and he just got like frustrated, and he just took like a deep breath, and then, you know, we kept walking, and he wasn't mean to me really, he was just kind of like mad. And then afterwards he was like, I'm sorry, like he calmed down very quickly. It's not a big deal, it's just something, it's these little hot tempers.
It's like it's literally a switch too, because it lasts like
30 seconds.
Yeah, in your head it's like 30 seconds, but after that, like, the damage is done. So like literally, unless you go and like try and repair it, you know, try and communicate about it, talk about it, and like realize that it was not a big deal, and I mean, it could sit and fester, but I mean, it's really not a big deal if you just like are aware of it and are constantly trying to, I wouldn't even suppress it, just control it, you know, just realize in the moment that it's happening, and like take some deep breaths, and just maybe walk a little bit further in front of somebody if you're kind of frustrated in the moment, you know, just.
Yeah, so I think that it's it is good to just be aware, but I think it's kind of like, well, how do you deal with this? Obviously, there's no cure, like you can't just be like, well, here's the 5 steps and you won't have it anymore.
Yeah.
But I do think that just being aware, and if you have a partner that's going through it, or if you're going through it yourself and you have a partner, maybe sit down with them and say like, hey, I want to be honest, this is happening, you know, it sucks, but it's something that I'm really working on. And then just kind of come up with something like, in the moment when you feel those, just be like, I'm having a time. Like, I need a second, you know?
Yeah.
Or whatever you need to do, whether it means you need to walk away, or they need to give you a big hug, or whatever will make you feel better in the moment, but just say like, I'm going through a time, and kind of explain to them what that means, so that way when the situation does happen, they know what exactly to do, and you're not even more frustrated with them, you know, poking at you, being like, well, what's wrong? Why are you doing this? You know, because that doesn't help.
Yeah, if you are a partner of somebody that's transitioning, what is like the best, like the greatest help that you're gonna give your partner is just being understanding, like being there and listening. Yeah,
patience.
Yeah, it might be frustrating in the situation to be on the opposite end of a temper spurt or whatever, you know. It might be frustrating, but you just got to think about like what you went through during puberty and what your partner's going through and how hard it is, because sometimes I literally feel crazy. I tell you this all the time. I feel crazy sometimes, and that's new to me. So it's hard for both of us, but it's not permanent.
No, and I know that, and that's why it doesn't bother me. It never bothers me. I always just say, you know, like, I understand, like, it's okay, because I do understand, and it is okay. It's not intentional, and I know that he's aware of it, and I can see he tries really hard to, like, keep it under control, and that's all I could ask for, you know?
Yeah.
We also wanted to mention this to kind of prepare you, just in case you are going to transition, but you're not transitioning yet. Just kind of expect it a little, and if it doesn't happen to you, then that's wonderful. But just in case it does, we really don't want anybody getting in trouble, especially now, whenever I feel like majority of the world is kind of like aimed at us, waiting for one of us to just fuck up. Like, just be aware that you might get these little like hot tempers, and it's just a feeling. They fade quick in our cases, like in our situations. But just be aware that it could happen to you. I feel like sometimes whenever you expect something, it just makes it easier to handle, but I don't really see a lot of people talking about this because it is more of a negative side of a transition, and I feel like a lot of people try to keep it like happy and positive, like that's what transitions are, but like, you know, not everything is happy, come on.
Can't be happy all the time.
No. So we want to be real with you, and we just wanted to kind of tell you what we're going through. If there's any updates later on that we noticed or something that we found that works great, then we'll make sure to share that with you as well. But for right now, that's about all we have. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye.